Hello everybody, this is module number 5, Understanding My Community, USD 494 elementary level. So customs and traits, we treat everybody like family. With it being such a small town, everybody, it is like a big family. A lot of people have students in our school or have nieces or nephews, had students in our school, were students in our school. So it really is like a big family. The community is really involved in our school. We have a lot of volunteers that do all kinds of things, come read to the students, volunteer for parties and the field day at the end of the year, which is a huge deal. So we do that, and we have a lot of volunteers that come and help with that. It's just a really amazing group and community to get together and get along so well. The school carnival is one thing that we do with the families and the students, setting up games. We sell tickets really cheap so that parents can afford them. And then the students can win really cool prizes between basketballs, games, and other like bicycles. So it's really nice. And then we have math and literacy game night, which is free for the parents and students. This is to promote parents to bring their students to the school. We get all the classrooms get games set up, so reading games and math games. And then again, it's free. We also feed the families. We have free food, so that kind of helps bring them out. So again, it's dinner and games for free for the families, and we usually have a really good turnout for that, which is a lot of fun because the students love coming to the school after hours and playing games and stuff like that. So population characteristics. Education of the parents. Some parents have not completed or a school or are very limited, but most of our parents have completed school. The the parents that we have, typically we have a high Hispanic rate, and so they have come from an area where school isn't very important, and it's not as important as them working in the fields as kids. So when they come to Syracuse, they know how important education is. They understand how important it is for their student to be able to read and do math and all that stuff. So they are a huge help in supporting their student as best as they can and making sure that their students stay on track. Because again, they understand how important it is. If they don't have a real good education and they can't read, they understand how difficult that makes life for them. So they don't want their student to have that. With the age breakdown, we have preschool through sixth grade, 360 students, and then our junior high and high school, we have 200 students, and our junior high is at seventh grade to 12th grade. Our junior high and high school is seventh grade to 12th grade. With the sex, we try and keep all the classes pretty even with the boy-girl ratio. Obviously, some of our classes are a little heavy on one side or the other, but we try and keep it pretty even. And as for the race, we have white and Hispanic. Like I said, we have a fairly high Hispanic community. And we have some foreign exchange students that come into our high school, which is a lot of fun too, to see them come in. So communication channels, school website, and the school Facebook page are the two main sources of communication we have with our parents. We do have some parents that don't have internet or don't have a computer, so then we use Class Dojo because Class Dojo can be something that goes onto their phone. Parents love it. I can message back and forth, let them know what's going on if they have questions, anything like that. Let them know that their student is doing really well. And then we have other word of mouth, text messages, and stuff like that. So it works out really well um, between the school website, the Facebook page, and Class Dojo. Orange folders go home on Thursday. So again, if we need to send anything home that needs to be signed or the parent needs a hard copy of, we can go ahead and send it home in the orange folders on Thursdays. Community groups, we have athletic, SYAA. We have volleyball, football, basketball, baseball, and we might do track. They're not exactly sure since it's not really, it's up in the air right now. They're hoping to get enough participation to be able to do track. So we're looking at that. Students and family attend church. It is a big deal. Church is a huge thing in our community. So that's another good, strong tie that the community has together. Our school board members are really good about helping everybody out, making sure the students get what they need. They did vote. We got smart boards 2 years ago. Uh, our school didn't have any smart boards until 2 years ago, and they've gradually been putting them in the school. They start at the lower grades and they're working their way up, which is fantastic. It's so important to have that technology. It really keeps the students engaged. Um, the faculty and staff really get along. We all work together. We do have a mentoring program in our school. So myself, when I was new, my first year, I had a mentor, and I can't even begin to tell you how amazing that was to have somebody there when I had questions. And both faculty members and parents, they're a huge support. Um, we have faculty members helping out even after school's out, with athletics and tutoring, all that stuff to help our students. And again, we also have a huge parent support as well, which really helps out. Um, a united front with the parents and the schools really helps the student see what teamwork is like and how much you can do with the teamwork that we have going on. So with the leadership, we have our superintendent, and then we also have our school board members. We have the donors to the school, the church staff, and we have our two principals, one in the elementary school, one in the high school. Again, we have a lot of volunteers in our community. We have people that come in and read to our classes, um, and help out in any way that we need. They give, half hour of their time every day or a couple of days a week to come in and work with our students. We have our athletic director, and then we do have one main IT personnel guy that works on our system. We have somebody that kind of does it part-time, but we have one main IT personnel. Community leader characteristics. So our school board is vested in the school. We got a brand new gym about 3 years ago. It's called the Herndon Gym, and it was a huge event because this gym is huge, especially for the size of the town that we have. We have a lot of tournaments that come to our town because of this gym, because it is spacious, it can hold a lot of people, and it can handle a lot of events. So it's really nice, and it really brings a lot to our school. Outsourced, we do have speakers come in occasionally from outside. We do have veterans come in for Veterans Day, which is a lot of fun for the students. And then we have our sheriff's department comes in, or they bring a speaker in. They have a speaker that they bring in occasionally to kind of help really talk to the kids about do's and don'ts as they're getting older and going through those changes and those phases, just to make sure they don't do something that they may regret later on in life. So it really is nice and really does help us out and keeps us together. So economic conditions, the school relies on federal government and state funding. We are tax exempt and we are a Title I school. So with transportation, a lot of students are bused in. Some walk because, again, we are kind of towards the center of town. So we do have a lot of students that walk. And then as for the adults, not all of the adults in our town have driver's license, so they depend on other people to get them where they're going. I know some of the feedlots have shuttles to bring their employees out to the feedlot and back, which is really convenient. It really helps them out. It saves them money on gas, and then if they only have one vehicle, their spouse can take the other vehicle. Our superintendent does well at saving costs and making sure that we have what we need. There's not a lot that we've needed that we haven't been able to get. Again, with the smart boards, it's an amazing feature to have in a classroom, and it really helps us out. And they're working, doing what they can to um, make that work. With the teacher salary, they're helping increase our teacher salary so that we can get at a decent wage. The surrounding area is does have a higher teacher wage, but they're working on getting it so that it's very comparable, which we all really appreciate. And then we have 50% of our students qualify for free or reduced lunches. Social tension, some of our biggest social tensions, non-English students, what happens is they may have a different type of culture, or they have that language barrier and they don't understand. We try and do everything we can to help these students out, but sometimes it does cause tension between the students if they're playing soccer and one student feels rules are one way and another student feels they're a different way. But if they can't make that communication, if they can't talk about the differences, it's really hard for them to get that figured out with that language barrier. Students are just figuring out their groups in elementary. So there can be small cliques of different boys and girls, but they're just kind of getting that figured out. So there's nothing major in the elementary level. At the Also at the elementary level, some students are kind of just noticing differences, such as um, the the white students, the Hispanic students, the languages, stuff like that. They kind of are just kind of grasping those differences, and some students say things about them, unfortunately, and some students don't. The misunderstandings happening between students is usually a vocabulary issue. Um, if somebody has somebody else's chapstick, hey, this student took my chapstick. No, they gave it to me. Well, did you give it to them? Yeah, but I wanted it back. So that's just kind of a vocabulary issue that we have to work through. As for clicks, some of the girls are starting to get into that phase of being kind of dramatic, or having that drama in their lives, and then boys are typically play rougher than the others. So that always can cause some issues, but they work through it. Extra sources of information, we do have our school board minutes. Those are always posted. We do have our PTEA and PTO, and then our Rotary Club is huge. Our Rotary Club actually donates dictionaries to our students, full big dictionaries to all of our students when they get to third grade, and students absolutely love them. My students this last year, they couldn't get enough. When it was time to read a book, they always asked if they could read their dictionaries. Sometimes I let them, sometimes I didn't, but they just absolutely love their dictionaries. So that's huge. And again, that's through our Rotary Club, which is a lot of fun. Power structure of operation. So chain of command for parents is the teacher, the principal, the superintendent, and the school board. And then as for the chain of command for getting information out, it starts with the school board, then goes to the superintendent, principal, teacher, faculty, and then we send it home or tell the parents and students. So we got to make sure that we understand the chain of command for both situations. It's really important, and it's really worked well for us. That way everybody's informed and everybody knows what's going on. And then if there's any questions, there's not any surprises. Um, our principal's not surprised by a question. She knows exactly what's going on. And then student structure. Students lead the morning announcements, which is great because it helps them give a sense of leadership. We do Bones in the Boneyard. We have our stucco. We have our Be the Eye and Kind sign, which the students absolutely love. We do our pups assembly, and then I actually have pup bucks in my classroom, which the students also love. They can, if they do something nice, they can buy stuff that I have purchased or been given. Um, and it gives them something to work for, and then they can be humble because they don't get a pup buck if they do something nice and ask if they get a pup buck for doing that. So it really helps them understand the real reason to do something nice. And then multicultural issues, expectations of following in line with cultural norms. It's hard to enforce this and many different levels, with communication that we have. Um, Welcome any diversity, but we need to allow the country norms at the best that we can. And we actually don't have a dress code. We just say cover your top and your bottom. Measuring public opinion, we really haven't done too much for measuring our public opinion, like most schools do, but we do listen to our parents if they do have an issue and want to address it. If they had a bad experience or if they don't agree with something that we do with our school. We do listen and we do take it into consideration. And then, like I said, if we did do a public opinion survey, we'd reach out to churches, local businesses, and people that do not have attendees